Lesson 3, empirical formula. Empirical formula. What the heck is this, right? Empirical formula is called, let me see, I don't remember the definition. Here it is. What is the empirical formula? Lowest whole number ratio of the compounds below. Okay, so it is the lowest whole number ratio. So for example, you have N2O4, right? That is a ratio of 2 N's to 4 O's, correct? Absolutely, of course it's correct. So then what we want to do, what an empirical formula is, we reduce that to just N and O. Reduce that. We can divide each of these by 2 to reduce that to NO2. This is the smallest whole number ratio. So we reduce it to 1 to 2. So the smallest whole number ratio for a formula, okay? Smallest whole number ratio. So you remember that. And when you do this, there are 3 steps. Here are the steps. Very short and sweet. If you can remember this will make your life really easy. 1, percent to mass. 2, mass to mole. 3, divide by smallest. 4, multiply to whole. Okay? Percent to mass, mass to mole, divide by smallest, multiply by whole. It actually rhymes. That's actually pretty cool. You can rap it, you can sing it, you can dance to it, whatever you need to do. Remember these 4 steps. Okay? Empirical formula. Empirical formula. So on your test, what's empirical formula? Percent to mass, mass to mole, divide by the smallest, multiply by whole. Okay? So, I should use the divide sign and multiply sign here to make it shorter and sweeter. Okay? You can do that. Write this down somewhere. Get the steps down. So, for example, number 1 here. 75% carbon and 25% hydrogen. Alright? So, what's the first step? The first step is percent to mass. So 75% becomes 75 grams of carbon. 25% hydrogen is so 25 grams of hydrogen. Okay? So the next step, percent to mass. So let's write up here. 1% to mass. 2, mass to mole. 3, divides smallest. And 4, multiply to whole. Okay. And so, number 1, percent to mass, we got that. Number 2, mass to mole. So the next step that you want to do is you're going to multiply by a conversion factor, by a molar mass factor. So you put grams of carbon down here and then 1 mole of carbon's on top. So what's the mass of 1 carbon? 1 carbon is 12.011, which is 12.0. Then that's how you change that to mole. Okay? Get the mass of 1 carbon and you put the grams on the bottom, the mole on top. We'll learn about this method called dimensional analysis in a future class, which is very soon in 2 classes. We'll learn about that. So you take 75, you multiply on the top, 75 times 1 divided by 12, and you get 6.25 mole of carbon. Okay? And then for hydrogen, do the same thing. Put 1 gram of hydrogen on the bottom, because that's the mass of hydrogen, 1.0, is 1 mole of hydrogen. So then 25 divided by 1 is 25 mole of hydrogen. Okay. So we did step 1 and step 2. Percent to mass, check. Mass to mole, check. Divide by smallest, so which of these 2 is the smallest? 6.25. So we divide by 6.25. 6.25. Then we divide that, we get 1 carbon, and we get how many hydrogen? So 25 divided by 6.25, you get 4 hydrogens. Okay? So keep that in mind. 1 carbon, 4 hydrogens. And so you write your formula C, 1C, and 4 hydrogen, CH4. That is your empirical formula. Okay? On step 4, it says multiply to whole. If these are not whole numbers, you got to multiply by something to make the smallest one, or to make them all whole numbers. Okay, so CH4 is already whole number, C1H4, but we never put the 1, so Don't do that. CH4. Whole number's ready, then you don't have to do number 4. There are cases where you're going to see, this is what number 4 means. Separate from this question, okay? You might see something like C, I'm just making up a compound, C, H3 and O 1.5. Once you divide by the smallest number, you might get that. So what you have to do to get rid of this 1.5, what can you multiply by to get this 1.5 to become a whole number? Well, if it's 0.5, then you can multiply all of them by 2, right? Multiply all of them by 2, so you have to double everything up. So C2H6O3. So if it is not a whole number, and so you have to know some common multiples there. What if you have something that's like this? CH5 and O 1.33, right? When you divide, you can have that. Those are the most common ones: 0.33s and 0.5s. So 0.33s, to make it a whole number, you multiply the whole thing by 3. So it's C3H15. You got to multiply all these bottom numbers by 3, by the one common factor, common multiple. And then O3, 1.33 times 3 is 1.33 times 3, 3.99 is 4. Okay? So that's how you do that. That's what it is meant by step 4, multiply to whole, if you get these fractions. Okay? And so let's do one more as an example on your paper here. I already did number 1, so you should have number 1 already on your paper done. And let us do number 5. Number 5. 32.4% sodium, 22.5% sulfur, and 45.1% oxygen. Okay? From percent to grams, we'll change it to grams. Alright. Percent to mass, which is grams. Mass to mole. Now I can do this you can do this as well. 1 mole of sodium is equal to how many grams of sodium? 23.0. 1 mole of sulfur is how many grams of sulfur? 1 mole of sulfur. 32.1. 1 mole of oxygen is equal to 16 grams of oxygen. Alright? And that's how you change that to mole. So 32.4 divided by 23, I get 1.4408 mole. And then 22 divided by 22.5 divided by 32.1, get 0.7009. I try not to round too soon, not to round too much too soon. 16. 2.819 mole. Okay, so this is Na, this is S, this is O. All right. So there we go. We already did 2 steps. We changed mass to percent to mass already, and then we changed mass to mole. Now we need to do what? Divide by the smallest. Which of these 3 is the smallest? These 3 is the smallest. 0.7, 0.7, 0.7. So 1.48, 1.4 divided by 0.7, it'll be 2. So you have 2 Na, so it's going to be Na2, and then S. S is 1, then 2.819 divided by 0.7, you get 2.819 divided by 0.7, and we get 4.02. O is going to be 4. These numbers, you're going to round it to the nearest, probably 1/3 or 1/2. So if you see it real close to 1/3, then it's 1/3. 0.33. Okay, so we got 2 Na, so you write Na, 2, 1 S, don't put the subscript for S, and 4 O's. Na2SO4. You check, are they all whole numbers? Yes, they are. So you don't have to do step 4. You don't need to multiply to whole. Okay? So work through these, complete number 2, 3, 4, and 6. You will notice that you don't have that many problems to practice, right? Because I already did 2 for you. So you should be able to do the rest. That is it.